What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Dreamstar Toys Shovel Fighter, or their version of a Masterpiece scale stylized scrapper. So this was sent to me by Brian W. Thanks for allowing me to take a look at this, as well as some other Constructicons, which we're going to take a look at the Mecha Invasion a little bit later. This guy looks really good right out of the box. Lots of nice detail. And I will say, I thought the Superion, the aerial bots, looked good as well. But those felt somewhat cheap. So far, this actually feels pretty good compared to that. Materials feel pretty good. The paint overall, everything just feels a little bit better and more sturdy. Even the materials that they used feel better. But you can see all sorts of tampos, details, the green, purple, silver, copper, all that you see is paint. Got some gunmetal here on the wheels. Here's the back. It does have some hardware back here just to do the combiner part of this figure, but overall I think it looks really, really nice. Let's go over the articulation on this figure. The head, we'll come in close. It is translucent, eyes, and light piping at this stage I think is not appropriate for Masterpiece scale figures anymore. They really need to have painted eyes, especially if you don't have actual light piping to let the light through. It just looks too dark, in my opinion. But you get all sorts of movement all the way up to there. It's a double ball peg pin neck. So the neck itself moves forward and backward. The head itself goes up and down. So you get way down, way up, side to side, and it rotates around. About anything you could possibly want with the head. Shoulders rotate around on a ratchet joint. Out to the side, it does collide a little bit right here between the shoulder and this shovel, so you kind of have to get that out of the way. You can't get the shoulder all the way up on a ratchet. Nice feeling ratchet, by the way. You have a rotation here at the bicep. Double jointed elbow, full bend. Nice piece here on the elbow, making it not look incomplete. It's got almost like a wheel. It's really creative. Rotation at the wrist. You have individually articulated fingers. The bottom three are connected, but you can articulate them at 3 pins. And then the pointer finger is separate, so you can point. And the thumb is on a ball joint and 2 pins, so you can pose those fingers. That works pretty nicely. Coming down to the waist, you have a waist rotation here on a ratchet. You have an ab crunch here in the middle, and it goes way down, way more than I was expecting. That's pretty cool. And nice details and accents right here. Continuing down, you have a hip skirt here on the front, just a single hip skirt. Legs will kick up to there, back to there, another ratchet there. Out to the side on a ratchet. I love that companies are continuing to include ratchets on the outward movement. A lot of times they skimp on that. Rotation at the thigh. The first detent is appropriate. That's the first detent that works for me. I mentioned rotation at the thigh. You have a double jointed knee, but it collides with this. So if you move this out of the way, you can use it, and it gets all the way up to that wheel. And when I first took this figure out of the package, I had one knee wasn't configured the same way as the other. So what you want to look at is, where does this green piece right here sit in relation to this circle? And if you have it the same on both sides, then it'll be right. If you don't, you'll have one leg a little bit taller than the other, and it might look a little funny. So that's just something to watch out for, but it works perfectly. You have an ankle tilt here, forward and backward. You have, I don't think you have anything forward and backward here, just side to side. As far as accessories, we get a single blaster here done in black plastic with some gold paint. It does look very, very good. I don't believe there is storage back here. It looks like there's a clip, but I don't see a place where it would go. So I might be mistaken, but I don't believe it stores. But this can go to his hand. There's a tab in the middle, like you'd expect. And that will tab in right there, and then you can put the fingers around it. It's a little bit on the loose side. No, it's not. It fits perfectly. I just had it in the wrong spot, but there you go for the single accessory. And for a quick size comparison, there is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. About the same size. It's a big version of a scrapper here, but it does fit in nice with the Masterpiece scale. And for another comparison, there it is next to the Fans Toys Gary, their version of Scrapper. And I thought this guy was big when I got him, but this guy's even bigger, maybe another 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. So I think this set's going to be pretty darn big when they're done. And it is impressive, it is imposing, but it looks good. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into vehicle mode. And I will say it is a bit of a challenging transformation, but definitely better than their aerial bots, at least so far anyway. Let's get started. We'll start with the arms. Go ahead and fold them straight. Fold the hand so you have the fingers forward, and then rotate the arm so it faces the back. Same on this one. Hand forward, arm facing back. Come to the arms here, and we're going to unpeg them from here. This part's a little scary, but it works fine. It's pegging into translucent red plastic here, and then regular green plastic there, and it is, I guess it's not die cast, but it just feels, it feels funny, but it works. All right, so same on this side, unpeg this, and you can use a spudger if you need one, but I haven't needed one. And then rotate this around and have it sit down there. We're going to come to the back here. We're going to extend all of this out on its double hinge. You can lift up on this, get that out of the way, and give yourself as much room as possible. So you're going to bring these together, and these are going to tab together. There's 3 pegs on each side. We'll just rotate these out of the way for now, and should peg together like that. On the front part of this, there is a peg. Actually, we're going to unpeg this from here. This is actually pegged in down here and up here, so unpeg it from both spots. Bring that down. And bring this all the way around to the front. And just leave it there for now. This piece has a little purple tab right here. Make sure it's squeezed together. That's going to fit in right here. It's a tight fit, but it does go there. So bring this up and get that tabbed in underneath. These are going to peg in on the front. So there's 2 pegs on the front of this purple piece. They're going into the black piece. Get that pegged in, and then just leave this right here. And that kind of solidifies this front section. Now we'll take these arms and take care of this. There's 2 pegs out here. They're going to peg into the outside of this arm. So we're going to open up this arm and accordion this all the way down. And this is why we opened up the hand earlier, or rotated the hand earlier, because we rotate it into here. So it's flat in there. And then, oops, and I undid this. There we go. Make sure that's all pegged in there. Then we're going to take this and fold this up. And it's going to sit flat. Make sure it's flat. It's going to sit flat on the inside here, inside of the wheel. On the outside, this wheel is going to rotate in such a way that it meets up and with this tab. So bring this up, and then this is going to peg in to this tab right here. So get all that lined up. There we go. And make sure this purple tab in here stays pegged in to the shoulder piece, the purple shoulder piece. All right, so we got one side done. Go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Open this up, flip this in, rotate the hand up, or the arm up, and then rotate this in and peg it in right here on the bottom. Give that a firm squeeze, and make sure this purple part is still pegged into the front. So So we should have something like this. And these wheels, they just rotate until that little tab makes its way in. If it's not fitting, that means you don't have this black piece all the way down, all the way pegged in. But those little tabs on the inside should kind of just slot in the wheels and actually sits up on the wheels. Like that. So there's your front end. You can bring this back down. For the shovel, you're going to open that up, and that's basically it for the front end. Now we can take care of this part here on the back. So this is going to unpeg from here. There's two pegs right here on the purple that are plugging in to the back side, and then these pieces are fitting in here. Oops, hopefully that was on camera. This pegs into here. So we're going to come to here. You can fold this panel down. We're going to flip this around. As we're doing this, we can just line this peg up with the back of the hole in the head. And then this is going to rotate all the way around until you get to here. This will come back down and close up that hole on the front. Make sure this is still pegged in back here. There we go. And this whole thing can just sit right there for now. We'll take care of that in a little bit. But that's how we're looking right now. And now we'll take care of these legs. These legs are definitely the hardest part. Make sure the waist is straight, not rotated. So it should be looking like this. So let's do one leg. I'll do the other one off camera. You do need this piece back here. That is going to get pegged in, but I'm just going to move it out of the way for now. So a couple of things you have to do. Come to the inside of the leg. We're going to unpeg this black piece right here. Pull that out. It's just tabbed in right there. We're going to unpeg this from here. And we're going to unpeg this whole section from here. That's tabbed down on the inside. All right. This whole section is going to accordion. Let's see. Yeah, this whole section is going to accordion down on a double hinge and just sit right there. Now we're taking care of this. So fold this out all the way. Come to the top here. You can just bend the knee down a little bit. Open this panel up. It's tabbed in right here on the inside. And then we're going to get to pull out on this sliding joint. And that'll allow you to rotate this all the way to the other side. So it sits, let's see, how do we want this? Like this. All right. I'll fix that later if it's wrong, but maybe it was like this. Yeah, sorry. I think it's like that. All right. You can straighten this up. And I forgot to mention there's a little articulation here. There's a cover down piece that goes over the ankle. Covers up here. We can unpeg the knee. I'm going to rotate this panel all the way around on this double jointed hinge. This wheel going to come to the inside, slide down, and then peg in here. Bring this all the way around. Making sure this works its way here. Okay, there we go. All right, now on the inside, we're going to take this peg here. That's going to make its way into here. And you do have to kind of straighten up this joint here. Should actually be pushed in just a bit to get it to be straight. Make sure the thigh is folded straight down. It may be tricky to line it all up because there's no exact like point where it shows you where it goes. So it can be tricky to get it perfectly straight, but get this down. And get that pegged in. All right, so it should go in like that. And we should have something like this. Okay. Now we can take care of this side piece here. Keep that closed. This piece here will settle in a little bit later, so just leave it for now. We'll end up going on top of this. And make sure these are pegged in too. Alright, so we're going to come to the side here. We're going to lift up on this, keep this open. There's a panel right here, so we're going to open that entire thing. Open this one on the inside here. We're going to open this up, and this will fold in and kind of become the side of the truck. Little hidden piece right here, fold that up, bring this panel up, and that's going to sit right here. Bring this in, and there's a little slot right there, and actually this should be on the outside, I'm sorry. And get this tabbed in here, get this tabbed into the side of the cab, and get this tabbed into the side of that. Oh, and before we do that, rotate this in, so that's going to sit on the inside, then peg that in. On the back here, bring this over. Make sure these two panels are folded in. They should just be tucked away there. Rotate this in all the way, and then this will peg in to this back panel right here. Looks like that. This came out, so this is supposed to be pegged in right here. And then this one will be pegged in right here. This one, I would argue, moves around a bit. So I just feel like that one's probably, that's an area where I think this could have stood to use a little more improvement, but just plug that in right there. It does go in. Right then on the bottom here, bring this panel down, this foot panel, and it'll tab into this little fin right here on the side. So push that up and get that pegged in there. And we can close that down. All right, so here's how we're looking. Go ahead and do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna do this side off camera, and then we'll be right back. All right, and a couple of finishing touches. Now that you have both sides done, you're gonna peg this back part together. Make sure that's all the way up. Peg that together. Peg that together. This panel's gonna flip over and cover down and clip on. It really is quite secure. These might still pop out on you. Just plug them back in. Make sure these are pegged in too. And last step here, come to the bottom. Grab your gun. The peg on the handle will fit into a hole right there. So just line that up. And that sits nicely underneath there. All right, and there you have Shovel Fighter in vehicle mode. And I'm pretty impressed. It actually looks really cool. I wasn't sure how good it was going to look. Based on the look of the robot mode, I thought it was going to be relatively panely and kibbly and not really of alt mode. But it's a very good looking alt mode. Nice shovel here on the front. Got caution symbol, little tampo details, little ladder to walk up, little details here, which I knew was going to end up looking good in the vehicle mode. This is about the only thing in the vehicle mode that is not my favorite. This doesn't plug in all that well. Sometimes comes loose. But other than that, I mean, it's really, really nice. Rolls nicely on those wheels. Beautiful red windows all the way around. Nice, grill and just detail in here. All that looks really good. Silver details, caution details. I love that the gun plugged in down here and became an exhaust. It just works. Of course, you do get articulation on this. You can lift this up. You can fold this forward. There's another joint here, so you can put it like that. You can have it however you like. If you want to lock this on, you can peg it in. And you can put some, Energon cubes or something in there, whatever you want. But it really works as alt mode. There's this little piece here. I'm not really sure what it's meant to be. Maybe it's a piston or something, but you can just kind of fold that. Sometimes these do come out. They're supposed to peg in onto the side here. And that does hold, but occasionally if you mess with it, it will come undone. But overall, really, really nice looking vehicle. And for size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. And this is a big vehicle. It really works in the Masterpiece scale. You know, it's very intimidating and imposing as a Constructicon. You know, this construction vehicle should be big. So I'm a fan of the scale. All right, now let's get this guy into combine mode. And normally I don't do combine mode until the very end when we have all the pieces, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have this figure by the time they complete. So let's get it transformed so we can take a look at how it looks. Come to the bottom, we're going to unpeg these feet from the sides here, just untab them and leave those down for now. We're going to unpeg these from the side. These are actually tabbed in right here on the side. So open those up. You can unpeg these two arms from here. We can lift this up. This is going to peg in right back here into the front of the windshield here. Make that. This is going to come back and peg in. There's a peg here and a slot right there. Get that pegged in. You can kind of see how this is going to come out, but leave these open. We're not done with these yet. We're going to take these arms, and you want to get these folded down. So make sure you unpick it from the side here, and then fold it down. So you have it like this, and they kind of line up there. Now that you have it here, we're going to fold this up, not the elbow, but the actual elbow here. So this comes up here, and then this is going to peg in, this is tricky, but to the front there, I think like this. So this ends up being the bottom of the heel. All right, so the same thing here. You fold that up. We're going to bring this out, and that is going to line up with these two holes right here on the back. This bottom peg, the front peg should peg into the bottom hole. Make sure we get it. There we go. Now we got it. And a couple more steps. So we're going to open this up. So we can unpeg these and just set these to the side for now. And then open up these, and these will come all the way around and sit down like this. Then we can bring out this little armature right here. And you're going to open up these two pieces here. And this is the securing tabs for where it attaches. So obviously we don't have that here, but leave that like this. We can close this back up. And the instructions don't really say what you want to do with these. Oh, and sorry, one more step here. We're going to bring these down as well. The instructions don't really say much about what to do with these. My personal opinion is you could probably make it a little bit cleaner by rotating it down like this. So it's sitting cleanly on the sides. But that is basically what it's going to look like in combine mode. And I'm not 100% sure I have this right. I think this is wrong. I think this is going to come down and sit like that. Yeah, I think I have this back part not exactly right. So don't quote me on this part here. I might have that part still not quite right, but essentially, here is your combine mode. It is pretty solid and stable. Really chunky, beefy guy. It's going to be a pretty thick version of Devastator. And before we leave combine mode, I just want to mention there's one other thing. It's not in the instructions, but I think it was intentionally made to do this. So you fold this down, the little peg on the inside here, or a little slot, and then a peg out here. So you can peg this wheel in, and I'd assume it's supposed to go like that. You know, you're supposed to peg the two together. I guess it's a more complete look, or maybe it's an option. I don't know, but that definitely feels like it should be pegged together. You can have something like that. So, final recommendations on the Dreamstar Toys Shovel Fighter. This is a pretty cool figure. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 and recommend it. I was surprised. I didn't expect this to be as cool as it is. It has some really nice paint, really cool articulation, which I was trying to demonstrate here in this pose. A pretty cool alt mode. I know it's stylized, but in both modes, but it is very cool looking. And I'm impressed with the materials, the engineering, and the quality overall, especially compared to what we saw when we got the aerial bots. So maybe they've improved. We'll see when we get other figures in this line, but definitely a recommend for me. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Brian W. for sending us a review, and we'll see you next time.